President Obama, as I mentioned before, taking a direct shot at the Supreme Court's recent decision on campaign finance. Take a listen.
With all due deference to separation of powers, last week the Supreme Court reversed a century of law that I believe will open the floodgates for special interests, including foreign corporations, to spend without limit in our elections.
Wow. Justice Sam Alito, by the way, could only shake his head in disbelief, and he was mouthing, if you couldn't tell, the words, "That's not true," at the president's accusation. So what is going on here? Here to sort it out, Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano. Were you shocked at this?
I was scandalized by it. I mean, the Supreme Court is not there by command. The government couldn't command the Supreme Court to go there. They're by invitation. So you have the Supreme Court there to show deference to the president, to show the unity of the three branches. What is he trying to do? Intimidate them?
Well,
shout them down in an environment where they can't reply?
What is he trying to do? Is this the first salvo of a whole campaign against the Supreme Court?
It may very well be. Now, the president has First Amendment rights like anybody. The president can use those First Amendment rights to disagree with the Supreme Court. But to attack them in an environment where they can't reply.
There are rules of decorum, and of course we remember a year ago when that Republican congressman shouted out, "That's a lie," and everybody, Nancy Pelosi said, "You can't do that. There are rules of decorum in this chamber that you should do." Well, there are rules of decorum for him as president as well.
Absolutely.
You don't attack a Supreme Court justice who's right in front of you.
Absolutely. You don't undermine a Supreme Court opinion. Look, the Supreme Court has no army. The Supreme Court is followed because of its moral suasion, because it is the court of last resort. For the president to their faces to suggest that the opinion was wrong undermines, and it almost suggests it shouldn't be followed. And David, I guarantee you he didn't read it, because if he read it, he would know it was based on the First Amendment. And the Congress cannot write laws to abridge the First Amendment. That's what the case was about.
So you think Judge Alito was right, Justice Alito was right here?
He absolutely was right. He was also right on the technical issue when the president said this will open the floodgates for foreign corporations.
Of course, not all justices, in fairness to President Obama, not all justices agreed with his decision.
5-4 decision.
Yeah.
But Justice Alito was correct in this respect. There are 3 times in that opinion which says this does not apply to foreign nationals or foreign corporations. The law prohibiting them from participating in American campaigns remains.
The reason why it's so important to have a separation between the executive power and the justices is because they are not subject to popularity contests.
Correct.
They are there to defend the Constitution. The president should know that, and their decisions are not based on what is popular or what is not popular, and they shouldn't be put in the middle of a popularity contest.
I agree 100% with you. And to put them in that situation where the room is standing in applause as the president attacks their ruling, and they're in no position to reply, is utterly naive. The judiciary is the anti-democratic branch of the government.
Now, let me stop you there, because that sounds dangerous to say, but it's true. They're not there to defend a popular position.
Correct.
They are there just to defend the Constitution.
Precisely.
And to defend the rights of minorities.
Oh, exactly, because if they weren't there, if they were subject to popular whim, then the majority could become a tyrant.
And the president has spoken out very eloquently in the past about the tyranny of the majority. We have to be careful of that. But last night, he took exactly the opposite position.
It was as if he was a first-year law student, that they didn't understand the relationship of the 3 branches to each other. And David, he taught at the University of Chicago Law School, one of the 5 best in the country. He must know the Constitution, of which he speaks.
Getting back to your original point, my question is whether this is the beginning of something, maybe FDR-like. We know that FDR took direct aim at the Supreme Court, eventually loading up the Supreme Court with his cronies after 4 terms.
You sent me an email this afternoon which made my blood boil, and it was a copy of the fireside chat that he gave.
1937.
Ripped into the Supreme Court, and as a result of which he proposed expanding it from 9 members to 15.
That was his first salvo in 1937. I think he was still in his first term, but the fact is that he went on for that. He was just beginning his second term.
It was the lowest point of his popularity. The Congress never even even voted on the court packing, and he was forced to withdraw it. Why? Because the country wants a Supreme Court and wanted it then and wants it today, insulated from politics and not subject to the popular will.
Well, the president has a lot of problems with some Supreme Court decisions, and if this is the opening salvo of something bigger, we have to watch it very carefully.
We have to watch every minute of it, David.
Judge Andrew Napolitano.